Welcome back to the show. Let's go to this week's mailbag, an increasingly popular segment with the lovers and the haters of the David Pakman Show. You can email info@davidpakman.com. Please don't abuse the email address, guys. There's so many people that we just have to block from our email and filter their emails to where they belong, right into the trash. But it's still great hearing from so many of you. Before we jump into the email piece, let's do like one little extra, which is a tweet response. And this goes to, remember my Monday segment about I'm no longer going to apologize to the idiots sort of thing. Here was like, I tweeted about Russia this week and someone wrote back, dude, you're regurgitating CIA talking points. What a loser take. Give me a break, dude. Go away. I don't care what you think. And I'm not doing the show for you. You can go away, find some show that is more pleasant for you, but I just don't care. I just don't care. I've had the other one is you're regurgitating DNC talking points, man. We're not paid by the DNC. I have no contact with anyone at the CIA. I don't even know what CIA talking points are when it comes to this. I just don't care. The show is not for you. Please move on. No longer explaining away or apologizing. Corey wrote in and had a very good reminder. Corey said, what happened to Obamagate? Sir, at one point, Trump declared Obamagate as the crime of the century. He never detailed it, but claimed everyone knew what it was and the evidence was going to come out. I know that it's just part of the Trump grift, but when these claims never come to fruition, how do otherwise intelligent people keep falling for this? Well, they're not really otherwise intelligent, Corey. Is it a matter of personality cult brainwashing, or do people just want to be insiders and pretend to be in on the grift? There's different reasons why different people fall for obvious lies. Yeah, if you don't remember the whole Obamagate thing, Trump at one point started using that term Obamagate and saying it's the biggest political crime of the century. And a lot of people would ask, like reporters, what is it? What is it? And Trump would go, you know what it is, and would attack the media. And the evidence was always just on the brink of coming out. And of course, like it never did. It never did come out. And I don't know what Obamagate was. Was Obamagate they spied on my campaign? Was Obamagate the tan suit? Was Obamagate when Obama had a particular type of mustard on a burger? I don't know at this point what Obamagate was supposed to be, but rest assured, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. A very strong shot across the bow fired by Ralph. Ralph wrote in and said, hairy situation. David, no politics in this email. I just wanted to let you know that your facial hair is much better than Farron Cousins. Not as good as Brett Ehrlich's, though. I love your show. Watch it every day on YouTube. Keep up the good work. This is extraordinarily divisive. Extraordinarily divisive. And I would encourage Ralph to rethink. Write in about something less divisive, like, you know, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict or something like that. No, in all seriousness, I can barely grow a beard, so I don't even know. I did not expect any commentary on my facial hair, nor do I have anything to brag about, quite frankly. This is what, when I don't shave for 2 weeks, this is what it looks like, and it's pathetic, and that's okay. But that's it. I don't have anything else to add about that. Will wrote in about Trump's presidential portrait. Says, hey, David, really enjoy the show and the way you discuss news, almost all of which I agree with. One small point I don't agree with you on is Marjorie Taylor Greene's use of gazpacho instead of Gestapo. I in no way support her on anything, but I do think she said gazpacho on purpose to ridicule Pelosi, to attract more attention and to rile us libs. It was not a slip of the tongue or an indication of her ignorance, as if any more were needed. I disagree. And the reason I disagree is, number one, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is smart enough to think of that. And number two, it's not really helped her in any way that she has been widely ridiculed for saying gazpacho instead of Gestapo. It's not gotten more people to agree that Nancy Pelosi is the mask Gestapo or whatever it is that Marjorie Taylor Greene meant to say. I just don't think so. And a couple of people have proposed some version of that theory. I just don't think she's got it in her. And later in the email, and I apologize that it got cut off, The topic is Trump's presidential portrait. Will went on to say, do I think that Biden will welcome Trump to the White House to unveil his presidential portrait the way prior presidents have welcomed their predecessors? I think the answer is no. I don't know why or how it will work out this way, but I do not expect to see Trump at the White House having his portrait unveiled with Biden standing there. I don't expect it. Part of it has to do with Trump continues to say he actually won the election and that Biden's not even the rightful president. So I don't expect that to be the case. If you disagree with me, let me know. Toby wrote in. Toby says, I remember way back in the 1980s and 1990s when TV news had commentators, they would generally announce whoever it was is a commentator, have a message on screen announcing that is what they did. I figured this was to separate them from the journalists. I find it interesting. Eventually doing it this way was done away with, therefore blurring the lines between journalists and commentators. Yeah, this is a very astute observation. Right now, many so-called news channels are based on the idea that they blur reporting and news. And Fox News does this expertly. They will, for example, not identify that we have now shifted from me giving you facts to someone giving opinion. And unfortunately, a lot of people are too ignorant to realize that that shift has taken place. They will often crowbar in opinion into their news hours by saying, so here's like a way it might go. On a Thursday night, Tucker Carlson will go, it looks to me like the FBI might have done the January 6th Trump riots. Of course, that's an opinion not based in any fact. The next day, Fox News hours will go, last night on his program, Tucker Carlson stated that he believes the FBI, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, now let's bring in two people to debate it. Did the FBI do the riots or not? And it all becomes part of the news cycle. Yes, would it be much better to go back to those quaint moments? Here to give us his opinion, which is not the opinion of this network, and it is only an opinion, is Tucker Carlson, or whatever the case may be. Toby, absolutely spot on observation. Joseph wrote in and says, David, sir, your comparison about high schoolers asking questions to Milton Friedman versus the modern day high schoolers asking questions to Ben Shapiro is apt, but I think it misses an important detail. So background, what I said was, you can see the decline in sort of education and competence in that if you look at high schoolers of the era asking questions to Milton Friedman or Noam Chomsky, and you see the questions asked of Ben Shapiro or college students, that the caliber has declined dramatically. And I see it as a sign of the anti and pseudo-intellectualist movement and the decline of education, critical thinking, etc. Joseph says any high school that would invite Ben Shapiro is probably not turning out the brightest students in the first place. Talk about academic standards. Therefore, it stands to reason that the questions from these students would be inarticulate. Let's be fair, Okay, so that's fair. I mean, I guess the idea here is someone who would want to go see Milton Friedman speak is by definition going to be more of a thinking person than someone who would want to go see Ben Shapiro speak. I don't know. I mean, there might be something to that. But I think part of the issue, part of the decline is in who people want to go and see speak. And I think that there's been a dramatic change there as well. So a fair point, but I don't know that it really tells us everything we need to know. Damien writes in and says about the midterms, David, why does everyone assume Republicans will take back the House in 22, despite the fact that Democrats took back the White House and Senate in 2021? Well, first of all, it was 2020, but that is why. So, Damien, here's what you have to understand. If you didn't know the history of American politics, you might think, well, Democrats did well in 2020, so by definition, they have momentum going into 2022. Not the way it works. Historically, when one party wins back the White House in one election year, in the next immediate midterm, the other party takes back control of the House and or Senate or extends their control. And we can talk about why that is. Often there's sort of this idea of a pendulum that when it swings one way, it then comes back and swings the other way. A lot of different reasons, but historically, that's the way it happens. Usually when one party takes the White House, they then lose the House and or Senate. So that's why we expect it to happen. And indeed, it is looking that way, unfortunately. Last email is from Glenn. Glenn says, David, love your show, but I'm not a fan of you referring to Mike Lindell as Pillow. He's definitely an unhinged man worthy of your ire, but by referring to him as Pillow, I feel that you're lowering yourself to Trump's level of using derogatory nicknames for those that displease him. Though Pillow isn't really that derogatory, just appears unseemly, beneath you. I would prefer you refer to him by his real name. I kind of disagree. Listen, Pillow is not a serious person. Mike Lindell is not a serious person. And part of making it clear that, it's not Senator Mitt Romney has taken a position on tax reform. And we're not going to call him Mittens, right? I mean, I would agree with you there. Pillow's not a serious person. And the fact that Mike Pillow has even gotten a place in American politics, thanks to Trump, who was also not serious, I believe at every level, we need to be ridiculing the fact that this guy has a voice. And so I think in his case, referring to him as Pillow is absolutely fine. Anecdotally, I think people in the audience tend to agree with me on that one. If you disagree, by all means, let me know. We also have a great bonus show coming up for you today. The bonus show is for our website members. We depend on website members to fund this show. We've got CPAC going on right now, and CPAC is wild, cartoonish, reactionary extremism, and we should laugh at it. But remember, CPAC should also be a reminder at how much more seriously the right takes funding organization for right-wing media and right-wing politics, okay? On the left, we stink at it. The right crushes us with funding right-wing media, funding right-wing conferences. So remember, let's support media we think is doing something valuable. If you think this show is doing something valuable, consider getting a membership at joinpakman.com. It's very cheap, and you'll get access to the daily bonus show every day. You'll get a commercial-free audio and video feed of the full show every day, 6 hours before it publishes for everybody else. And you'll be supporting something that hopefully you think is worthwhile. Sign up at joinpakman.com. We have a coupon code you can use if you want. That code is WOW22, WOW22. We will see you on the bonus show in a moment.